The 91st Annual Academy Awards will be held Sunday, February 24th, at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood. The show will, if all goes according to plan, be no more than 3 hours long. The awards will be presented by big names, including Barbra Streisand, Jennifer Lopez, Samuel L. Jackson, Melissa McCarthy, Tyler Perry, Queen Latifah, and Allison Janney, thank goodness, but will be hosted, of course, by nobody. Not even Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, and all 24 categories will be handed out live on air, despite initial plans to the contrary. That's about all we know for certain about the upcoming ceremony, a telecast that's been beset by speed bumps and gaffes since the very beginning. The ever-roiling chaos has dominated most of the headlines about this year's telecast, which can make it easy to forget that the night is really about handing out a bunch of awards. So let's focus back on what's really important, which films and individuals will walk away with Oscars at the end of what's shaping up to be a very strange show. Below, VF's crack team of awards experts give their best guesses. Best Picture: Black Panther, BlacKkKlansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma. A Star Has Born. Vice. From the moment it premiered at Venice last summer, Roma has been basking in critical adulation. As a cinematic achievement, it's undeniable, the searingly personal work of a true master at the height of his powers. So why are we so anxious about predicting it to win here? Well, in a word, Netflix. Rightly or wrongly, the streaming giant is hated and feared by a substantial portion of the industry, and it's possible that not even a beloved auteur like Alfonso Cuarón can entirely correct for that. There's also the fact that Roma, for all its breathtaking brilliance, is a challenging and emotionally draining watch, which matters when a voter is looking at a stack of screener discs and deciding how to spend their evening. Plus, in a business where box office success makes almost any sin forgivable, Netflix's refusal to play the theatrical game is a handicap. Finally, it's possible that voters will go into spread the wealth mode and decide to reward Roma in other categories, like director and foreign language, while keeping it off the top of their ballot for Best Picture. For those reasons, and because of the way the Academy's preferential ballot rewards second and even third choice options, it's possible Green Book, Black Panther, or, brace yourself, Bohemian Rhapsody could take the prize as well. Still, Netflix's army of awards consultants are surely doing their best to stay calm and not overthink this. Perhaps the rest of us should follow their lead. Yalitza Aparicio, Roma. Glenn Close, The Wife. Olivia Colman, The Favorite. Lady Gaga, A Star Has Born. Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? For anchoring a movie that premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival all the way back in 2017 before being released nearly a year later, in an unheralded August bow, Glenn Close's towering performance in the otherwise unremarkable The Wife has held on incredibly well. Her passionate, sincere speech at the Golden Globes just about sewed this up for her, we think. Everyone's realized how much they've wanted Glenn Close to win an Oscar for all these years, and now it's finally time to give her one. The only potential spoiler here could be if too many voters figure Close a lock and then vote for another personal favorite, like Olivia Colman, but that seems pretty far-fetched at this point. Best Actor: Christian Bale, Vice. Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born. Willem Dafoe, At Eternity's Gate. Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody. Viggo Mortensen, Green Book. Remember when it seemed like Bradley Cooper was destined to win a directing Oscar and an acting Oscar for A Star Is Born? Or when it was entirely obvious that Christian Bale was podium-bound for his performance as Dick Cheney in Adam McKay's Vice? Well, the people who actually hand out awards had other ideas, and it's clear that they absolutely flipped for Rami Malek's intrepid performance as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. He won the BAFTA, the SAG, and the Golden Globe, and he's virtually a lock to win the Oscar. Does that mean voters don't care about the scandal that continues to swirl around Fire director Bryan Singer? More likely, it means they love to rock out to Queen, and they don't want to live in a world where actors are held accountable for a director's sins. Best Director Spike Lee, Black Klansman Pavel Pawlikowski, Cold War Yorgos Lanthimos The Favorite Alfonso Cuarón, Roma Adam McKay, Vice. The deck seems stacked in Cuarón's favor, for obvious reasons. Roma is a beautifully crafted film made by one of the foremost talents on the Academy's radar. Lately, the Best Director category does not always correlate with Best Picture. When they diverge, Best Director feels like a compromise, an award for the most finely crafted film of the Best Picture nominees, which is exactly what happened in 2015, when Cuarón won Director for Gravity but lost Best Picture to the historical drama 12 Years a Slave. But Cuarón seems like the straightforward favorite this year, unless Spike Lee sneaks in for an upset win, getting the kind of career achievement recognition the Academy feels it owes to the great artists it has overlooked. It'd be a surprise if Lee won, but a welcome one. Best Supporting Actress Amy Adams, Vice. Marina de Tavira, Roma Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk Emma Stone, The Favorite Rachel Weisz. The Favorite at the moment feels right for Regina King, whose career has skyrocketed in recent years, with her star turns in multiple TV dramas earning her 3 Emmys since 2015. Her Beale Street turn was snubbed by the SAGs, but no matter, the other choices in this category are either competing against each other in a way that may detract votes, like Stone and Weisz, or they appear in movies that are too divisive to win much support, such as Vice. Marina de Tavira, meanwhile, has an Oscar-worthy performance but not the awards momentum she needs to pull through, though, like King, she'd be a deserving winner. Best Supporting Actor Mahershala Ali, Green Book Adam Driver, Black Klansman Sam Elliott, A Star Has Born Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Sam Rockwell, Vice. Were this close to predicting a Mark Rylance-esque upset and tipping this category for Richard E. Grant. But the fact is, Mahershala Ali has been dominant all season, as the best part of a movie the industry really seems to like. Even if it didn't catch fire, or the right kind of fire, with the general public, one could say that Ali has a recent win working against him, but the Academy doesn't actually seem to mind doubling up from time to time. We'd be thrilled to see the wealth spread a bit with a win for beloved journeyman Grant, but that just doesn't seem to be where the wind is blowing. Best Original Screenplay. Favorite First Reformed Green Book Roma Vice. Imagine a double episode of The Crown with a screenplay by Rosencrantz and Guildenstern or Dead Era Tom Stoppard, and you'll have a pretty good idea of what to expect from The Favorite, directed by Greek provocateur Yorgos Lanthimos. This ink-dark comedy about the 18th-century court of Queen Anne wears its absurdist theatrical influences on its brocade sleeve, and the effect is shockingly funny, intellectually engaging, and sneakily moving. The screenplay itself has an interesting story, too. It began as the brainchild of Deborah Davis, who wanted to bring this rare story of women in power to the screen, and was thoroughly overhauled by Lanthimos and the Australian playwright Tony McNamara. Happily, Davis found the end result faithful enough to deserve her full endorsement. Best Adapted Screenplay. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Black Klansman Can You Ever Forgive Me? If Beale Street Could Talk. A Star Is Born. There are 4 credited writers on Black Klansman, but the only one voters will be concerned with is Spike Lee, who also directed the film. He's only won an honorary Oscar, and has barely been nominated, after a long, lauded, complicated career, and this seems like the Academy's best chance to get him on that stage. There's some distant competition from Can You Ever Forgive Me, perhaps, but this feels like it's Lee's year. Best Animated Feature. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Incredibles 2. Isle of Dogs. Mirai Ralph Breaks the Internet. Only a few days away from Oscar Sunday, the race for Best Picture feels as unpredictable as ever. But over in the animation category, this year's win has felt like a done deal, since Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse started scooping up critics' awards even before it opened in theaters last year. Miles Morales and his animated friends have been on a non-stop streak ever since. It's not easy to beat out not one, but 2 Disney animated films. No other studio has beat Disney at all in this category since Rango in 2011. But as well received as both Ralph Breaks the Internet and Incredibles 2 were, they're no match for the energy and innovation of Spider-Verse. Best Documentary Feature Free Solo. Hale County this evening Minding the Gap of Fathers and Sons are big. Is worth saying up front that this year's crop of documentary nominees is unusually strong for the Academy. Free Solo has death-defying photography, cameras hauled up the side of El Capitan, and RBG, a loving tribute to the life and career of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was a rare thing for documentaries, a box office hit. These are genuinely notable achievements, as are the free-form vision of Black life provided by Hale County and the journalistic bravery of fathers and sons. But still, we think voters will go with their hearts and give the prize to Binglu's Minding the Gap, which has the beautiful advantage of being both a wonderful achievement on its own and, in its study of masculinity and domestic violence, the kind of topical fare that Oscar voters can't resist. Best Foreign Language Film. Capernaum, Lebanon, Cold War, Poland, Never Look Away, Germany, Roma, Mexico, Shoplifters, Japan. It should be obvious that Roma, a leading contender to win Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Cinematography, would also win Best Foreign Language Film, thereby becoming the first film ever to win both awards. And that's probably what will happen. But there is at least a smidgen of peril here for Netflix, thanks to another black and white entry, Poland's Cold War. In the entire history of the Academy Awards, only 9 foreign language films have been nominated for Best Picture, and Roma and Cold War are 2 of them. If voters are feeling resentful toward Netflix, or even complacent about the chances of a film they assume will need a chartered jet to carry all its statuettes back to Mexico, Pavel Pawlikowski's __ acidically romantic musical could sneak in for the win here. Best Original Song. Shallow, A Star Is Born, All the Stars, Black Panther, I'll Fight, RBG, The Place Where Lost Things Go, Mary Poppins Returns, When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. In a wildly unpredictable year where, once upon a time, Oscar pundits predicted A Star Is Born would make a clean sweep of the top awards this Sunday, the Lady Gaga vehicle is now left with only one certain claim to Oscar glory, Best Original Song, for the show-stopping, trailer soundtracking, Shallow, Never Mind That, Always Remember Us This Way, is the better tune. Gaga may not be headed for the avalanche of Oscars we once predicted she would be, but she can take comfort in the fact that she's following closely in Barbra Streisand's footsteps. The actress and star of the 1976 version of A Star Is Born won her second of 2 career Oscars for the Best Original Song, Evergreen, Best Original Score, Black Panther, BlacKkKlansman, If Beale Street Kid. Talk Isle of Dogs. Mary Poppins Returns. Given the tepid overall response to Mary Poppins Returns, it seems safe to say that composer Mark Shaman is the least likely victor in this bunch. Sorry, Mark. Frequent Wes Anderson collaborator Alexander Desplat is justifiably beloved, and Oscar-decorated. He's already won this award twice in the past 4 years, but his Isle of Dogs score doesn't exactly reinvent the wheel, so he's out too. That leaves us with 3 scores: soulful Terence Blanchard's work on BlacKkKlansman, Ludwig Göransson's Senegal-inspired work on Black Panther, and Nicholas Britell's sweeping, romantic score for If Beale Street Could Talk, the sentimental favorite in this category. Barring an overall Black Panther sweep, we say Britell clinches it. Best Cinematography. Cold War. The Favorite, Never Look Away, Roma. A Star Is Born. As a rule, don't count out Alfonso Cuarón, considered to be one of contemporary film's most skillful technical wizards, for acknowledgement in any category, especially the nitty-gritty ones concerning the careful work of actually assembling a feature. That's even more true this year, when the director is credited as his own cinematographer for Roma, his magnum opus. There are definitely voters who find black and white imagery too simple, and Cuarón's constant lateral pans and sweeping images aren't to everyone's taste. But his talent is undeniable, particularly for any Academy members looking for a place to reward his Netflix film outside of the bigger-ticket Best Director and Best Picture categories. Best Film Editing. BlacKkKlansman, Bohemian Rhapsody. The Favorite, Green Book. Honestly, like many others this year, this category could go in one of several directions. Adam McKay's frenetic Dick Cheney biopic won this award at the BAFTAs not too long ago, a possible sign of industry support. But it was bested by The Favorite at the American Cinema Editors' Eddie Awards, in the comedy category. Meanwhile, Bohemian Rhapsody took the Guild's Drama Prize, perhaps because its members wanted to send sympathy in the direction of editor John Atman, who had the unenviable task of assembling a coherent film out of footage shot by two separate directors. That said, Vice certainly has the most editing of any of these nominees, which seems like a mark in its favor, and its Iraq montages make it the closest thing the category has to a war movie this year. Dunkirk and Hacksaw Ridge won the last two editing Oscars. Best Visual Effects: Avengers, Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, Solo, A Star Wars Story. This category feels like a dead heat between First Man, Oscar loves a space movie, and the second highest grossing film at the domestic box office in 2018, Avengers, Infinity War. Best Visual Effects has a predilection for space travel and futurism, with Blade Runner 2049, Ex Machina, Interstellar, and Gravity taking home the prizes in recent years. So one might be tempted to put Damien Chazelle's First Man at the head of the pack. But while that meticulous recreation of the moon landing did pick up one prize at the Visual Effects Society Awards earlier this year, Infinity War picked up 3. The members of that body seem particularly taken with the digital rendering of Josh Brolin's Thanos, which utilized brand new motion capture technology to endow the massive and potentially cartoonish purple villain with a surprising amount of depth and humanity. Best Production Design: Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Mary Poppins Returns, Roma, Wakanda, or 18th Century England. Those seem to be the two main options in this category, between Black Panther's lavish techno-utopia and The Favorite's grimy British elegance. We're giving the edge to Black Panther because of that movie's general momentum, and because it had more work to do. There was just more to invent. Of course, it's also possible that Roma will have broader reach in the technical categories than we're guessing, so maybe this is really a three-film race. In the end, though, we still see Black Panther adding another trophy to its haul. Best Costume Design: Black Panther, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, Mary Queen of Scots. Unless it pulls out a big surprise victory in the Best Picture race, and it might, Black Panther's best shot at taking home Oscar gold is for Ruth Carter's intricate and vibrant costuming, which infuses centuries-old styles and accessories with dashes of the future. The Costume Designers Guild has yet to hold its 2019 award ceremony. Carter is already a winner once over, having been given a Career Achievement Award for a body of work that stretches all the way back to Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing and School Days. Best Makeup and Hairstyling: Border, Mary Queen of Scots. Vice. You saw Christian Bale's receding hairline and impressive double chin, right? And Amy Adams' no-nonsense Lynn Chaney bob. And Sam Rockwell's signature dubious swoop. There's just no way a pox-ridden queen or a whimsical Swedish Fantasyland, that's what Border is about, the more you know, can compete with all that. Bohemian Rhapsody might have had a shot if it had been nominated. Teeth, but it wasn't, and so this prize is Vice's to win. Best Sound Mixing: Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, Roma. A Star Has Born. Fact-based, mid-century set dramas have won out in this category for the past few years, which could put First Man in a strong position. But Damien Chazelle's Neil Armstrong biopic also has little overall awards momentum, which makes us think another film is more likely to come out on top, most likely that Queen biopic, a sound-a-palooza that finds balance in its tricky concert sequences, much like A Star Is Born, and also won both the BAFTA Sound Prize and a pair of statuettes at the Motion Picture Sound Editors Golden Reel Awards, which A Star Is Born did not. Best Sound Editing: Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, A Quiet Place, Roma. When it comes to this category, voters often cast their ballots for the most sound. That's why noisy war films like Dunkirk, Mad Max, Fury Road, American Sniper, and Zero Dark 30 have walked away with the top prizes in recent years. But like other technical categories, sound editing also often rewards the vacuum that is space. See Oscar winners Gravity and Arrival. With no war movies in the mix this year, Academy voters will likely reward First Man for some of its jaw-rattling manned flight sequences. Could go with A Quiet Place, which had a surprising amount of sound work to do for such a hushed film, but First Man feels like the safest bet. Best Short Film, Live Action Detainment Fauve Marguerite Mother's Skin. There is barely any levity to be found in this category this year, which is replete with disturbing shorts about troubled boys and boys in trouble. One of the selections, the true story-inspired Detainment, has even prompted an impassioned petition urging the Academy to rescind its nomination. If Oscar voters want to make a statement with their ballots, they may well choose the intentionally provocative white supremacist-themed Skin, which doubles as the only American nominee in the bunch. But if they're exhausted by all the cruelty on display here, and who wouldn't be, chances are they'll go instead for The Gentle Marguerite, a story about a sick elderly woman and her caretaker that's downright lighthearted by comparison. Best Short Film, Animated Animal Behavior. Bao late afternoon One Small Step Weekend. Pixar may not have a chance at winning Best Animated Feature, but the spry yet haunting short film Bao seems like a clear frontrunner this year. Domi Sheep, the first woman to direct a short for the Emeryville-based animation house, was advised by some of the Pixar's past award winners not to shy away from a dark ending in which a frustrated mother devours her dumpling son. Relationships between parents and their children is a persistent theme of this year's short nominees, so if Oscar voters look beyond the glossy Pixar shine of Bao, they may instead decide to reward an elegant meditation on memory and motherhood from Ireland called Late Afternoon, or an exploration of the melancholy of divorce and shared custody called Weekends. Best Documentary Short. Black Sheep Endgame Lifeboat. A Night at the Garden. Period. End of sentence. If you've spent any time over the past few years watching the Oscar-nominated documentary shorts, you can predict a few recurring themes: the Holocaust, current refugee crises, death and dying, as well as the damaging ramifications of racism. But perhaps that's why the surprisingly heartwarming Period. End of sentence is the frontrunner this year. A group of students from the Oakwood School in North Hollywood, which boasts such starry alumni as Chris Pine, Todd Haynes, and Lily Rose Depp, served as executive producers on the doc, and spearheaded philanthropic efforts to improve feminine hygiene and destigmatize menstruation in northern India. Its uplifting message and celebrity associations give this film a leg up on the competition. More great stories from Vanity Fair. What 2019's Oscar nominees wore to their first Oscars. Is this the anti-Bachelor dating show we've been waiting for? It's good to be Regina King. Just how millennial is Armie Hammer, the inimitable Glenn Close, and her 7 Oscar-nominated roles? Looking for more? Sign up for our daily Hollywood newsletter and never miss a story. Get Vanity Fair's HWD newsletter. Sign up for essential industry and award news from Hollywood.